I'm Ann Harmon, the pastor of St. Paul's Lutheran Church in Clearwater. I'm reaching out to you to invite you to join our congregation in a project very dear to our hearts. Over the years, St. Paul's has supported the ministry of Farmworkers Self-Help and Res House Lutheran Church in Tommytown, a small community just outside of Dade City. We support their work with the migrant community and those in need in the Dade City area. Our friends in Tommytown are developing an elementary school which will be called East Pasco Academy at Tommytown Prep. It will open to grades K through 3 in the fall of 2027. The need is compelling, and Res House and Farmworkers Self-Help have completed huge milestones in securing the financing for the first 2 portable buildings. We have been following their progress, and earlier this year, our congregation discerned that we were being called to find a way to help our friends get those buildings ready for class to begin. Listen and join us in this journey. I remember standing with you out in the park across the street from the church, and you standing there the first time I was up here, and you pointed out into the grass out there and you said, "There's our school." Not there will be our school, we might build a school, or we're trying to build a school, just there it is. And so you've had this vision for this to add elementary school age children and create another school. So can you tell me a little bit about that dream?
Everything that we have, everything that we build, it's been a vision of what it could be for our people. Whether it was a free clinic, whether it was a thrift store, whether it was a food bank, it all had meanings, serious meaning. And we knew it would happen. We want our kids to be able to go to school. We don't want somebody to say, well, because you're undocumented, you cannot go. Your education is going to stop. No, we're going to keep doing it. And one day we might be teaching college classes, even though we may not be at college, because they got to learn.
Pastor Bruce, what are we looking at?
So right here, this is our original soccer field that was built when we first turned this into church property, before we got the big one. But this little level space here between all these trees, this is where those 2 modulars will go.
It was about a year ago I was up here, and you were really starting to work on the pieces of that school. Where are we in the process today?
We're up to about $25,000 or $30,000. I don't really keep count of the money. He does. Because I don't want to. I just want to raise it. But I do want to know where it is, you know? And so we know that we have to raise a certain amount of money before we can ask others to help us. Because that's what self-help is. It's not about asking everybody to do it for you. It's how much are you going to do before you have to ask.
Pastor Bruce, I know have already begun this process of the fundraising for the building of the school. Can you tell me exactly where we are in the process and how St. Paul's and the Suncoast Conference and those who we gather around us can support this stage of the process?
The total amount that we're looking to have to raise is around $160,000, give or take. Our decision, as these buildings became available, these modulars became available at a really good price, was that the priority was to pay for the buildings. Right now we're sitting at just under $50,000. We have raised through Res House and Farmworkers Self-Help, between our contacts and folks, about just under $28,000 that we have banked in our own account. A year ago, Evolution Institute decided to do a match fundraiser at Christmas time, and they made it available to everybody who wanted to donate to the school or to its expansion, and they would match it dollar for dollar. So St. Timothy's in Tarpon Springs donated $10,000. So that became $20,000. I don't think that Evolution Institute really expected that donation. But they've been faithful to their word, and so they're holding the other $20,000 for us, and will give it to us whenever we're ready to receive it. But I like it sitting in their accounts because they earn more interest than ours do right now. So that puts us at just under $50,000, with a total of $80,000 being needed to be able to actually purchase and pay for these buildings, which pays for the building, the refit of the building, new flooring, new AC, the moving, transporting of the building over here, and the setting of it on the property to code, which is a ridiculously good price. It's each one is about 1,100 square feet, and they're actually E-rated, state-approved educational buildings.
Wonderful. Through St. Paul's Tithe Fund, we have created a $7,500 match grant with two parts to the grant. In the first stage, St. Paul's is inviting the Suncoast Conference, our friends and neighbors, to join us in matching the $7,500 grant. I and our congregants are eager to financially support this project and are inviting you to join us. The grant will match the first $7,500 donated to the school. In the second stage, with these donations and our initial grant, we are offering Res House and Farmworkers Self-Help a $15,000 match grant. They are already working on securing donations for that match. If we raise more than $7,500, the additional funds will be sent to Res House and FSH for the school. This is my checkbook. I've already made the first donation. At the end of this video, I'll tell you how you can make your donation and become a partner to help build and see children enter school at East Pasco Academy at Tommytown Prep. Who are the other partners who you'll be partnering with as the school becomes a reality?
We will set up a local board, so to speak, that will help oversee the operation of that school. As we think it's a good idea to have some other folks from the community, some other folks that have experience in education involved in what's going on. But most of our partnerships will be, other than Res House, FSH, and EI, hopefully the Synod to some degree, other ELCA congregations, and other businesses from the community.
You've done a lot of work with immigrants and farm workers over the years and taking care of all sorts of needs in this community. But education has always been special to you. Why?
Well, I've always felt like if you're not educated, if you don't have an education, you're still in chains. You're still a slave. If you can't understand what the farmer is telling the crew leader, that he's going to pay her so much, and the crew leader says, I'm going to pay you less, how does she know or he know what the deal was? Mm-hmm. So then she's at the mercy of the crew leader, you know? And the crew leader's taking another hit off of her pay or his pay. And so if you don't learn the language, you continue to be a slave. So to me, English has been very, very important.
You started a preschool here how long ago?
Well, the preschool actually came about 5 years ago, and it was really, we've always cared about children. We've always been involved with children, but not that little. 5 years ago, Pastor Bruce got this bright idea about what if we started a preschool? And I go, okay, only if you do it. And so we do have one now. And it's been very successful. So that's another dream of ours.
Why would parents in this community choose what basically will be a two-room schoolhouse over the facilities of the county school that's available to them locally?
In our community, first and foremost, the option for the local elementary school is not really an option. It's a terrible school. It has been an F school for several years. They paid over $1 million for a consulting company to come in and spend 2 years getting them to a C-, just enough to stay open. They're getting ready to combine several schools now that are going to be elementary and middle schools, so they can close one of the two schools. Two of them in the Dade City area. That's number one. Number two, our parents have been begging us to keep their kids when they graduate from VPK, which is volunteer pre-K, because they don't want them to go to the public school. And so for the last couple of years, we've been having this conversation since we first got this great idea. What if we didn't have to let them go? What if we could keep them a few years longer? How much better would they be prepared for public school? So with our children's parents really wanting them to stay in a place where they have smaller classrooms, they have a consistently bilingual experience, they get the attention that they need. Those things really matter to us, and really being able to do the best job we can do for those kids. We did a study before we started our early learning program, maybe 5 years ago. I went back and looked at the numbers. There were more instances of sexual assault, student on student, in this elementary school than any high school in Hillsborough County. We anticipate that there will be some children who could at some time, due to changes in the way that the state wants to do things, find themselves outside looking in when it comes to education. We don't want them to have to do that. We want to have a place that they can still come to school, that they can still get an education, that we can work on teaching them while we're working on how to figure out the next step for them once they leave us. But in the meantime, they're still learning, and they're still growing, and they're still safe.
As this video comes to a close, we'd like to present 2 ways for you to donate and become a partner in the building of East Pasco Academy at Tommytown Prep. We will show a QR code which will take you to our online giving portal with Vanco, where you can donate electronically. If you prefer, you can mail a check to St. Paul's Lutheran Church and indicate that it is for the school at Tommytown. The address will be provided at the end. We want to thank you for hearing this message and for your support for this vital ministry, which will provide a quality education in a safe and loving environment for the children of Tommytown. Thank you.